Hello and welcome to English with Confidence. If this is your first time here, I'm really glad you found us. Sometimes, one small conversation with someone we'll never see again teaches us more than months of studying alone. Today's story is about exactly that kind of moment. My name is Farah, and for the first 2 months after arriving in a new country, I avoided talking to strangers completely. I spoke to my roommate since we shared a language from home. I spoke to my teacher during class because it was required. But outside of that, I said almost nothing to anyone I didn't already know. It wasn't that I didn't want to connect with people. I simply believed I wasn't ready yet. I told myself, once my English improves a little more, once I feel a bit more confident, then I'll start talking to people. But that day kept getting pushed further away, week after week. One Saturday morning, I decided to sit in a small park near my apartment, just to read outside for a while. The weather was pleasant, and the park was quiet except for a few people walking their dogs and an elderly man sitting alone on a bench nearby, feeding pigeons from a small paper bag. I sat on a bench a short distance away, opened my book, and tried to read. But every few minutes, I found myself glancing over at him, curious in a quiet way about his life, his routine, what brought him to this same park every morning, based on how comfortable he seemed there. After a while, one of the pigeons wandered closer to my bench, and the old man chuckled and called out, "Careful, he'll steal your seat if you let him." I looked up, startled that he was speaking to me. For a moment, my mind went blank, unsure exactly how to respond. Then I simply smiled and said, "I don't mind. He seems friendlier than most people." The old man laughed, a warm, easy laugh. "That he is. Comes here every single day, rain or shine, more reliable than most people I know." That single exchange could have ended there, a polite moment between two strangers. But something in his tone invited more conversation, so I found myself asking, "Do you come here every day too?" "Almost every morning," he said. "Helps me think, and the pigeons don't ask too many complicated questions." I laughed at that, a real laugh, not a nervous one. We continued talking, slowly, comfortably. He asked where I was from, and I told him, bracing myself slightly for the usual awkward pause that sometimes followed when people struggled to understand my accent. But he simply nodded and said, "Beautiful part of the world, from what I've seen in photos. Must be quite an adjustment being here." "It is," I admitted. "Some days easier than others." "That sounds about right," he said. "Big changes usually work that way." We talked for almost 20 minutes about small things mostly: the weather, the pigeons, a nearby cafe he recommended for good coffee. I stumbled over a few words here and there, paused sometimes to find the right phrase, but he never once seemed impatient or confused. He simply listened, responded, and let the conversation move naturally, the same way any comfortable conversation does. Eventually, he stood up slowly, folding his empty paper bag. "Well, I should get going. Enjoy your book and the pigeons if they let you." "Thank you," I said. "It was really nice talking with you." "Likewise," he said, smiling, before walking off toward the park entrance. I sat there for a long moment after he left, almost surprised at myself. 20 minutes, a real conversation with a complete stranger, and nothing had gone wrong at all. No confusion serious enough to stop the conversation, no impatience, no judgment. Just an ordinary, pleasant exchange between two people passing time in a park. Walking home afterward, I realized how much energy I had spent building up that moment in my mind, imagining every possible way it could go badly, when in reality, it had simply been easy, warm, and unremarkable in the best possible way. If you've been waiting for some invisible sign that you're finally ready to talk to strangers in English, I want you to know that readiness rarely arrives as a feeling. It arrives quietly afterward, the same way mine did, sitting on an ordinary park bench, talking about pigeons with a man I never saw again, but never forgot either. If this story helped you today, please subscribe to English with Confidence for a new story every week. And if you know a friend who is also learning English, share this video with them. You might be exactly the encouragement they need today. Thank you for spending this time with me. Keep practicing, keep believing in yourself, and I'll see you in the next story.